कार्विक गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जी की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मरन मोहन जी की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मर भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मर भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपार शतर शत शिष्मर भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिष्मर भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिष्मर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्रील गोरक्षर बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट श्रील सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यालल प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नामचय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट विरत गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंद श्याम कुंद की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव श्री चैतन्य भागवत की जय। जय श्री वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। द गौड़ीय भाष्य श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। Okay, Dandavad pranams everybody. Hare Krishna, Champak Mataji, Janardan and Janardan Prabhu. Hari Bol. Pranams to both of you. Okay, so we will begin with Mangala Charan. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ajanulambita bhujao kanakavatato sankirtanaikapitaro kamalayataksho Vishvambaro Dijavaro Yugadharmapalo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha. Jai 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 Vishvambhara Dvijaraj Jaya Vishvambhara Priya Vaishnava Samaj Gaurachandra Jai Dharma Setu Mahadhir Jai Sankirtana Moy Sundar Sharir Jaya Nityanander Bandhava Dhana Pran Jaya Gadadhar Advaiter Prema Dham Jai Shri Jagarananda Priya Atishay Jai Vakreshwar Kashishwarer Hriday Jai Jai Shivasadi Priya Varganath Jiva Prati Koro Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat Madhya-khaṇḍa katha jena amriter khanda je katha shunile ghuche antar pashanda. Madhya-khaṇḍa katha bhai shuno ekachitte sankirtana aramba hoilo jeno mate. Tavaivasmi tavaivasmi na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya devi tvang nayamang charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshai kshiptastakama ditaranga madhe kripa maitvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanaravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityānanda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Haribo, Rup Manjari Didi, and Nitai, and also Ganga Mataji. Dandavat pranams, everybody. All right, so, the glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. Ore mura lok shuno Caitanya Manga, Caitanya Mahima Jate Jani Beshakal, Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas, Caitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das, Vrindavana Dasa Koilo Caitanya Mangal, Jahara Shravane Nashe Sarvaya Mangal, Caitanya Nitar Jate Jani Mahima, Jate Jani Krishna Bhakti Siddhanter Sima, Bhagavate Jata Bhakti Siddhanter Sar, Likhiya Chen Iha Jani Koriya Udhar. Caitanya Mangal Shune Jadi Pashandi Javan, Sheho Maha Vaishnava Hoy Tatakhan. Manushe Rachite Nare Aiche Granta Dhanya, Vrindavana Dasa Mukhe Vakta Śrī Caitanya, Vrindavana Dasa Pore Koti Namaskar, Aiche Granta Kori Teho Tarila Sangsar, Narayani Chaitanyer Uchishta Bhajan, Tar Garbe Janmila Shri Dasa Vrindavan, तार की अर्भुत चैतन्य चरिता वर्णन, जहाँ श्रवण शुद्ध कोयलो त्रिभुवन, सहजे विचित्र मधुर चैतन्य विहार, वृंदावन दास मुखे अमृतेर धार. By nature, all the activities of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, the Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Hari bol, everybody. Dandavat pranams. So we are continuing on with our reading from Madhya-khaṇḍa, chapter 3. Oh, 1 second. It's not in my recents. Been opening up too many documents. Let me find it. There it is. Dandavat pranams Nri Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji. Dandavat pranams to both of you. Okay, so Where did we read up to last time? 1 second. Let me just put this on the other screen also so I could see your comments. I have 2 screens up now. I mean, like a monitor. And there. One second. Oh, dang. Sorry, I'm just adjusting things on my screen. How come it's not letting me expand that? Oh, I know why. There. Okay. So, we read up to verse 59 last time. So let's read all the translations up to 59. And actually, first I'll read this. This is the Katha Sar written by Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj. This chapter describes the Lord's ecstatic mood, the Lord's manifestation of his Varaha form in the house of Murari Gupta, Murari's prayers to this form of the Lord, and then that's what we read the day before yesterday. And then today we're reading the characteristics of Śrī Nityānanda, Nityananda's arrival in Navadvīp at the house of Nandana Ācārya. And then tomorrow we'll read the Lord's description of his wonderful dream to the devotees, the Lord's demand for wine in the mood of Baladev, the Lord's arrival at the house of Nandana Ācārya. In the company of his devotees, the Lord's meeting with Nityananda, and the Lord's various devices for revealing the glories of Nityananda. Okay. 1 second, I'm just going to put something under my feet. There. Okay. All glories to Vishvambar, the beloved Lord of all. All glories to the Lord of Nityananda and Gadadhar. Let me do this thing where I can just... There, okay. All glories to the Lord, who is controlled by his devotees, headed by Advaita. O Lord, please award me your devotional service and deliver this humble servant. In this way, Sri Gaurasundar floated in the ocean of devotional happiness in the company of his associates. All the Lord's servants were like his very life. He cried while holding their necks and chanting the name of Krishna. On seeing the Lord's love, all the devotees surrounding the Lord cried. By the sight of his love, even dry wood and stone melted, what to speak of his servants. All the devotees left aside their wealth, children, and household, and engaged day and night in kirtan with the Lord. Gaur Chandra became filled with devotion to Krishna. Whenever the Lord heard any topic about Krishna, he was immediately influenced by that. When the Lord cried for 6 hours in the mood of a servant, it appeared that the Ganga was flowing from his eyes. When he laughed for 3 hours. When he lost consciousness, he would not breathe for 3 hours. Sometimes he would proudly manifest his opulence, and he would laugh and say, "I am he, I am he. Where is that old Nada who brought me here? I will distribute the sweet nectar of devotional service to each and every house." At that time he would cry and say, "Oh Krishna, oh my dear, Krishna re, Bapure." Then he would wind his hair around his feet. Sometimes he would recite verses in the mood of Akrura and offer obeisances by falling like a rod to the ground. While fully absorbed in the mood of Akrura, Mahaprabhu lost all external consciousness and said, "O Nanda, let us go to Mathura with Balaram and Krishna to see the royal festival of the bow sacrifice." When the Vaishnavas saw the Lord speaking in these various moods, they floated in the waves of ecstasy. Hari Bo Raseshwari Mataji. One day, when the Lord heard a verse glorifying Varaha, he roared loudly and went to the house of Murari. The Lord was greatly affectionate to Murari, just as Lord Ramachandra was affectionate to Hanuman. As Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata entered the house of Murari, Murari immediately offered him obeisances. And this is the first time, right, that the Lord's revealing himself to his very old, his very long-time friends that he grew up with, that he used to challenge all the time in debate. And Murari tried to avoid him. And, that's very same Murari. Now, for the first time, he's revealing himself to him, that he actually wasn't just this Nimai Pandit or even this Pabuk devotee, but he is the Supreme Lord himself. So as Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata entered the house of Murari, Murari immediately offered him obeisances. Shukar, Shukar boli Prabhu chali jai. As the Lord entered the house of Murari, he called out, Bor, Bor, Shukar, Shukar. Murari Gupta was astounded and looked all around. Vishwambar then entered the Vishnu temple, wherein he saw a beautiful water pot with a spout. The Lord immediately assumes the form of Varaha, and by his own sweet will, picked up that water pot with his teeth, with his tusks. In his form as Varaha, the supreme enjoyer of all sacrifices, grunted and manifested 4 hooves. Then the Lord ordered, Murari, offer prayers to me. Seeing this unprecedented sight, Murari became stunned. He was unable to find any words to speak. The Lord said, Speak up, do not be afraid. All these days you did not know that I am here. Murari trembled and humbly spoke, O Lord, only you know your glories. Lord Ananta, who holds unlimited universes on one of his hoods, constantly glorifies you with his 1,000 mouths. Yet he himself admits that he has not reached the end. Therefore, who else is capable of glorifying you? Even the Vedas, whose injunctions are followed by all, are unable to know you in full. Hari Bol Rukmini Didi. Oh, and Kishore Prabhu and Champak Mataji. Hari Bol, everybody. Yeah, so even the Vedas, whose injunctions are followed by all, are unable to know you in full. O Lord, the unlimited universes that we see or hear about are all absorbed within the pores of your hairs. You are always full of bliss in whatever you do. So how can the Vedas know your activities? Therefore, only you know yourself. Others can know you only if you reveal yourself to them. What qualification do I have to offer you prayers? Speaking in this way, Murari Gupta cried and offered obeisances to the Lord. Lord Varaha was pleased to hear with the statements of Murari Gupta. Displaying anger towards the Vedas, he spoke as follows. The Vedas mock me by accusing me of having no hands, legs, mouth, or eyes. There is one wretch in Kashi named Prakashananda who cuts my body to pieces while teaching the Vedas. He explains the Vedas, but does not accept my form. His entire body is afflicted with leprosy, yet he does not come to his senses. My pure body is the personification of all sacrifices. Personalities such as Brahma and Shiva glorify its characteristics. By the touch of my body, purity is sanctified. Even purity itself is sanctified. So how can that wretch say that my body is false? O Murari Gupta, listen as I tell you the essence of all doctrines. I will disclose the confidential purport of the Vedas to you. I am Varaha, the enjoyer of all sacrifices and the essence of the Vedas. It was I who previously delivered the earth. I have incarnated to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement. I will destroy the miscreants for the sake of my devotees. I cannot tolerate the oppression of my devotees. I kill the oppressor even if he is my own son, like Narakasura. I cut down my own son for the sake of my servant. I am not telling a lie. O Gupta, listen attentively. When I was delivering the earth, she became pregnant by my touch. I begot a powerful son named Naraka, and I personally instructed him on religious principles. My son became a great king, and he properly maintained the demigods, the twice-born, the gurus, and the devotees. By providence, he fell into bad association with Bana and began to take pleasure in oppressing the devotees. I cannot tolerate the oppression of my servants, so I cut down my own son to protect my servants. You have served me birth after birth. Therefore, I have disclosed these truths to you. On hearing the Lord's words, Murari Gupta became overwhelmed and began to cry. All glories to Śrī Gaurachandra and the association of Murari. All glories to Varaha, the Lord of sacrifice and protector of his devotees. In this way, the Lord revealed himself to all of his servants at each of their houses. When the servants recognized their Lord, their hearts became filled with bliss. Then they no longer feared the atheists, and they freely and loudly chanted the names of Krishna at all public places. In the company of the Lord, all the devotees happily engaged day and night in chanting the holy names. All the devotees assembled together, except Nityananda. Everybody was there except Nityananda. Gaurachandra became unhappy on not seeing his brother. Vishwambar constantly remembered Nityananda, and Nityananda, who is non-different from Ananta, could understand this. Janilen Nityananda, Ananta Ishvar. So that's where we read up to yesterday. Haribol Sudevi Didi. Of course, Rukmini and Rukmanjari Didi and Nita wouldn't miss the Nityananda rule. Glorification. Okay. Prasange shunoho Nityanander Ācārya Sutra rupe janma karma kichu kahitan. In this connection, please hear the narrations regarding Nityananda. I will briefly describe his birth and activities in the form of codes, or in the form of a synopsis, like in a sutra. And remember, the meaning of sutra is like literally means thread. And so if you have a spool of thread, and if you're able to find the tip of the thread, then you can unravel the whole entire thread. So sutra means it's just like a it's like the tip of a thread, and in the sutra is contained so much. And if you're able to access it, then you can unravel the whole thing. Rar deshe ek chaka name ache gram jahi janmilen Nityānanda Bhagavan. In Rar Desh, there is a village named Ekachakra, where Lord Nityananda took birth. One second. Modeshwara name deva ache koto dure jare puji ache Nityānanda haladhare. Near this village is a deity of Modeshwar Shiva that was worshipped by Nityananda Haladhar. Gaudiya Bhashya. Lord Nityananda appeared in the village named Ekachakra in Rar Desh, which is on the western side of the Ganga. A short distance from this village is a deity of Shiva named Modeshwar, or also Mayureshwar by other opinion. Sometimes Lord Nityananda worshipped him. Kishore said, Jai Gaur Varaha, Jai Kuladev. She grame vaishe vipra, harai pandita, mahavirakter pray doyalu charita. तार पत्नी परमावती नाम पतिव्रता परमा वैष्णवी शक्ति शे जगन माता परम उदार दुई ब्राह्मण ब्राह्मणी तार घरे नित्यानंद जन्मिला आपनी सकल पुत्रेर ज्येष्ठ नित्यानंद राय Sarvashu Lakshana Dekhi Nayana Judai. In this village lived a Brahmin named Harai Pandit, who was greatly renounced and full of compassion. His chaste wife's name was Padmavati. She was a great Vaishnavi and the mother of the universe. Both the Brahmana and his wife were most magnanimous. In their house, Nityananda took birth. Lord Nityananda was the eldest of their sons. On seeing all his auspicious symptoms, one's eyes were satiated. Gaudiya Bhashya. In that village of Ekachakra lived a magnanimous, renounced Brahman named Harai Pandit. His chaste wife, named Padmavati Devi, was the mother of the universe. She was profusely invested with Lord Vishnu's energies. Among their few sons, Lord Nityananda was the eldest. They had a few sons, huh? That is interesting. Never heard about I've only heard about one of Nityananda's brothers. I didn't hear about his other brothers. One second. Has anybody else heard about Nityananda's other brothers? One second. I'm just Vaijanti Malamataji, she just arrived in Navadvīp late last night, and she keeps on sending me messages. I'm just seeing if it's something urgent. Hari Bol Krishna Mai Didi. One second, let me just listen. Hari Bol Vaijanti. I am in the middle of the reading now. I'll probably finish in like an hour from now. But if there's anything that's urgent, you can send it in text form. Otherwise, I will listen to this in an hour. Okay. Tana balya lila adi kandite vistar etai kohile hoy granta bahutar. His childhood pastimes have already been described in the Adi Kanda. If I narrate them again here, this book will become voluminous. E mata kata din Nityananda Rai Harai Panditer Ghare Achen Lilai. In this way, Lord Nityananda engaged in blissful pastimes as he lived for some days in the house of Harai Pandit. Griha chari bare prabhu korilen man, na chare janani tata dukher karan. Tila matra Nityanande na dekhile mata, juga pray heno base tato dhika pita. Tila matra Nityananda putrere chariya, Kota o harai ojha na jai chaliya. Kiba krishi karme kiba jajamana ghare, kiba hate kiba bate jato karma kore. Pache jadi Nityananda chandra chali jai, tilarte shate kabar Ulatia chai. Oh, and I'm just looking at, before I read this translation, I'm just looking at Rup Manjari's translation, comment. She said, I have not heard about Nityananda Prabhu's all other brothers, but before you read the 8th canto, I never knew about Krishna and Balaram's many, many other brothers. Oh yeah, I remember that now. I forgot about that also. Oh, it's the 9th canto, sorry, 9th canto. Haribo Vidyalala Sadidi. Dandavat pranams. Okay, so, wait, what was the previous verse? So in this way, Nityananda Prabhu engaged in blissful pastimes as he lived for some days in the house of Harai Pandit. Nityananda Prabhu then decided to leave home, but his friends, fearing distress in his absence, did not leave him alone. If Nityananda's mother did not see him for a moment, she considered that moment equal to a yuga, and his father considered it even longer. Harai Ojha could not go anywhere without Nityananda for even a moment. Whether farming, in the house of his disciple, in the marketplace, or on the road, whatever he was doing, he would glance at Nityananda 100 times every minute out of fear that he might leave. Wow. Okay, Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Although Nityananda Prabhu was not bound by his parents' affection like an ordinary conditioned soul who wants to enjoy the fruits of his karma, and so although Nityananda Prabhu was not bound like that, and he intended to leave home for the benefit of the living entities, his most affectionate parents would not leave him for even a moment. For this reason, Nityananda Prabhu became morose. His parents would not let him out of sight for even the shortest time. They always stayed with him. In the course of their household activities, farming, acting as priest, traveling, and acquiring items, they repeatedly looked at their son, who accompanied them, out of fear that their son would leave home. Dhoriya puna alingana kore Nanir putali jeno milai sharire ei mata putra sange bule sarva thai prana hoila Nityananda sharira harai. As Harai Pandit repeatedly embraced him, the soft as butter, delicate body of Nityananda would merge in his body. In this way, Harai Pandit went everywhere, accompanied by his son. It seemed Harai Pandit was the body, and Nityananda was the life air. Wow. Gaudiya Bhashya. The father traveled everywhere with his son, and he would always keep him on his lap. Just as the body and life airs are inseparable as one unit, Harai Pandit, the father of Nityananda, was like the body, and his son was like the life airs within the body. Antarjami Nityananda iha sab jane Pitri Shukh Dharma Pali Ache Pita Sane. As the Supersoul, Nityananda knew everything. He stayed with his father for his pleasure and as a matter of duty. Gaudiya Bhashya. As Nityananda Prabhu is directly the Supersoul, Vishnu, he knew everything in detail. To increase his father's happiness, he remained appropriately engaged in his father's service. Daive ekadin eka sannyasi sundar Ailen Nityananda Janakir Ghar. One day, by providence, an attractive sannyasi arrived at the house of Harai Pandit. Nityananda pita tane bikha korair rakhilen parama ananda jukta hoya. Oops, sorry. Did I say koraira? Okay, so Nityananda's father invited him for a meal and happily kept him in his house. Sorry, I don't know why I misread that. Gaudiya Bhashya. With great happiness, Hadai Pandit invited an attractive wandering sannyasi to his house and fed him. Since the Panchasuna sacrifices are not meant for the independent sannyasis, they eat at the houses of the brahmanas. It is the principal duty of householders to offer meals and other non-duplicitous service to the sannyasis, who are situated in the highest order of spiritual life. Sincere service to the sannyasis. Okay. Panchasuna are the 5 different kinds of sins that are incurred by householders, which is like when they sweep, they kill living entities. So there's 5 different things like that. When they cook, different living entities get killed, like little tiny microbes and things like that, right? And so for all these sins, they have to do sacrifice. I'm actually can I just look this up 1 second? Because I like to know what I'm talking about. I know where it'd be. It would be in the folio. Let's see. Okay. Just opening this up. Let's see what Panchasuna is. Sorry, I'm taking up so much time. I just can't help myself. Hey. Oops, that's why. There it is. Okay. So, this is from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's Saratadvarshini of Bhagavad Gita. He says, actually, let me just make this, I'll put this on the dock so you can see it big. Okay, so what is Panchasuna? Those who take the grain remnants of sacrifices, such as Vishvadev, a type of sacrifice to the demigods, become free from the sins incurred due to the 5 unavoidable actions performed by householders, or Panchasuna. The Smritis inform the householder of the following 5 objects that are Panchasuna. 1. The cooking fire. 2. The grinding instrument. 3. The mortar and pestle. 4. The water pot. And 5. The broom. The word suna means the place where animals are slaughtered. These 5 household objects are called Panchasuna because they may inflict violence upon living entities. It is because of this only that householders do not attain the heavenly planets. What? That's really intense. So like when you grind spices, like the little, anyways, I'm a little bit confused by this, but the water pot? How does the water pot inflict violence upon living entities? More than anything else. Anyways, sorry. Okay, let's continue on. Okay, so one day, by providence, an attractive sannyasi arrived at the house of Hadai Pandit. Nityananda's father invited him for a meal and happily kept him in his house. And then, Sarva Ratri Nityananda Pitatar Shange Achilen Krishna Katha Katana Prasange. Nityananda's father passed the entire night discussing topics of Krishna with the sannyasi. Yeah, Rukmini Didi said, what about just walking? Yeah, it probably hurt more living entities just walking around than by grinding spices in a mortal pestle or whatever, grinding, whatever you do. Yeah. Okay. So Nityananda's father passed the entire night discussing topics of Krishna with the sannyasi. Gaudiya Bhashya. He fed the sannyasi and spent the entire night discussing topics of Krishna with him. Gantu kama sannyasi hoila usha kale Nityananda pita prati nyasi vara bole. In the early morning, when the sannyasi was about to leave, he spoke to Nityananda's father as follows. Gaudiya Bhashya. Sannyasis do not become bound by the affection of householders by spending much time in their homes. That is why the following morning, the sannyasi was preparing to leave the house of Harai Pandit and go somewhere else when he began to speak. Nyasi bole ek bikha achaye amar, Nityananda pita bole Jai icha tomar. He had no idea what he's getting himself into. Nyasi bole kori baya tirtha parjatan, sanghati আমার ভালো নাহিকো ভ্রমণ এই যে সকল জ্যেষ্ঠ নন্দন তোমার কতদিন লাগি দেহ সংহতি আমার প্রাণ অতিরিক্ত আমি দেখিব উহানে সর্বতীর্থ দেখিবেন বিবিধ বিধানে. The sannyasi said, I wish to beg alms from you. Nityananda's father replied, ask for whatever you like. The sannyasi said, I have a plan to visit the holy places, but I do not have a suitable Brahman companion. Please give me this eldest son of yours to accompany me for some days. I will take better care of him than my own life, and he will be able to see all the holy places. Gaudiya Bhashya. The Vaishnav sannyasi said, I have an appeal. In answer to this, Harai Pandit gave him permission to disclose his mind. The sannyasi said, now I am engaged in visiting holy places. Since it is not the duty of a sannyasi to light fires and cook, and since everywhere there is a shortage of suitable brahmanas, I do not get meals at proper times. Therefore, I require a Brahman companion. If you give me your eldest son for some time, I will love him more than my own life, and your son will become conversant with various holy places. The word sanghati means with or in the company of. Shuniya nyasir bakya shuddha vipravar, mone mone chinte boro hoya katar. On hearing the words of the sannyasi, the pure Brahman became afflicted with distress and contemplated as follows. Prana bhikha korilen amar sannyasi na dile o sarvanash hoy heno basi. This sannyasi has asked for my very life, and if I don't give it to him, I will be ruined. Gaudiya Bhashya. On hearing the heart-rending words of the Vaishnav sannyasi, the Brahman became extremely afflicted with distress and thought, I am only the body, and my eldest son is the life heir. Therefore, this sannyasi will take away my life and leave my body here. If I do not fulfill his request, then I will face imminent danger. Bhikkhukere purve mahapurusha shakal pranadana diyachen koriya mangal. Many great personalities in the past have given their lives to sannyasis and thereby achieved auspiciousness. Gaudiya Bhashya. It is found in many previous histories that great personalities desiring their own benefit have given their lives to sannyasis. Ramachandra putra Dasharathir jivan purve Vishwamitra tane korila jachan yadyapiha Rama bine raja nahi jiye tathapi dilen e purane te kohe. Vishwamitra previously begged Dasharath for his son Ramachandra, who was Dasharath's very life. Although the king could not live without Ram, he nevertheless gave him. This is described in the Puranas. Gaudiya Bhashya. On the request of Vishwamitra, Maharaj Dasharath gave him his own son, who is the very life of Dasharath. This is found in the ancient histories. Although it was very difficult for Dasharath to survive in the absence of Ram, In such a situation, Maharaj Dashrath gave up his son, who was equal to his own life. Sheto vritanta aji hoilo amare, e dharma sankate Krishna rakha koro more. Daive she vastu kene nahivo she mati, anyatha lakshmana kene grihete utpatti. The same thing has happened to me today. O Krishna, please save me from this dilemma. By providence, it was the same situation. So why the mentality would not be the same? Otherwise, why would Lakshman appear in his house? Gaudiya Bhashya. O Krishna, in this great predicament, please protect me from my wavering mentality, because I am in the same situation as Dasharath was. By providence, I am that Dasharath, and my son is Ram. Otherwise, why has my son developed such a mentality? If this was not true, then why have the symptoms of renunciation? If this is not true, then why have the symptoms of renunciation manifest in my son? Bhabiya chalila vipra brahmani rastane, anupurva kohilen shaba vivarane. After contemplating in this way, the Brahmana went to his wife and explained the situation in detail. Shuniya balila pati vrata jagan mata je tomar icha prabhu she mora katha. On hearing about the request, that chaste wife and the mother of the universe, she said, Dear Prabhu, I agree with whatever you decide. Aila sannyasi stane Nityānanda pita. Oh God. Oh, oops, sorry. What? I don't understand how this is supposed to be divided. Oh, duh. Sorry, that was obvious. Okay. Aila sannyasi stane Nityānanda pita. Nyasire dilen putra noia mata. What's noia? The father of Nityananda then came before the sannyasi with his head down and handed over his son to the sannyasi. Okay, noia means his head was down. Nityananda shange cholile nyasivar, heno mate Nityānanda charilen ghar. The best of sannyasis then departed with Nityananda. In this way, Nityananda left home. Nityananda gele matra harai pandita, bhumite podila vipra hoya murchita. As soon as Nityananda left home, the Brahman Harai Pandit fell unconscious to the ground. She vilapa krandana koribo konjane, vitare pashana kashta tahar shravane. Who can describe that Brahman's pathetic crying? Even stone and wood melted from the sound. Bhakti rase jada prai hoilo vival, loke bole haro ojha hoilo pagal. Teen masa na korila onner grahan, chaitanya prabhabe shabe rohilo jivan. Haro Oja became overwhelmed and inert in the mellows of ecstatic love. People said, Haro Oja has become mad. Indeed, he did not eat anything for 3 months. He survived only by the mercy of Śrī Caitanya. Wow, 3 months. Gaudiya Bhashya. After giving away his son, the devotee Haro Upadhyaya, he became practically mad. He was overwhelmed by the mellows of devotional service and appeared like inert matter in the eyes of ordinary people. He became as if, like Jada, what do you say? Anyways. For 3 months, Harai Pandit abstains from accepting food and drink, as generally taken by ordinary human beings. Still, his body did not deteriorate, as would happen in the case of ordinary people. Although he survived, he remained lifeless. Prabhu kene chhade jar heno anurag, Vishnu Vaishnaver e achintya prabhav. Why does the Lord leave someone who is so attached to him? This is the inconceivable authority of Lord Vishnu and the Vaishnavas. Gaudiya Bhashya. One may question in this regard that, being affectionate to his devotees, how did Lord Nityananda ignore his father's attachment for him? Yeah, it seems cruel, doesn't it? In answer to this, it can be said that the potency of Lord Vishnu and the Vaishnavas is incomparable. Their prowess is immeasurable by human calculation. And Mahaprabhu was calling Nityananda Prabhu, so he had to go. Swami hi devahuti janani chariya, chalila kapila prabhu nirapekha hoya. Vyasa heno Vaishnava janaka chari shuka, chalila ulati nahi chahilen mukha. Shachi heno janani chariya Shachi heno janani chariya ekakini, maybe? Chalilen nirapeka hoy nyasi mani. Paramarthe ei tyag kabu nahe, e shakal katha bujhe kona mahashaye, e shakala lila jiva udhar karane, mahakashta drabe jeno ihar shravane. Jeno pita haraiya Śrī Raghunandane, nirbhare shunile taha kantaye javane, heno mate griha chhadi Nityānanda Rai, Svanubhavanande tirtha brahmiya bedai. Lord Kapila displayed indifference by leaving behind his widowed mother. Shukadev left behind such a great Vaishnava father as Vyasadeva without even looking back at his face. The crest jewel of sannyasis displayed indifference by leaving behind his helpless mother Shachi. On the spiritual platform, such renunciation is not renunciation. Only a few great personalities can understand this topic. These pastimes are all meant for the deliverance of the living entities. Even wood melts by hearing such topics. On hearing about Dasharatha's lamentation after sending away his son Ram, even the Javans cry profusely. In this way, Lord Nityananda left home and traveled to the holy places out of his own sweet will. Gaudiya Bhashya. When Kapila's father left for his own abode, Lord Kapila displayed indifference by leaving his afflicted mother, Devahuti. Shukadev displayed indifference by leaving his father, Mahatma Vyas, in spite of his repeated quarrels. Shachinandan took sannyas in order to display indifference by leaving his helpless, unsupported mother. And in order to deliver the fallen souls in the same way, Śrī Nityānanda Prabhu, who is non-different from Mul Sankarshan Baladev, enacted the pastime of visiting the holy places out of his own spiritual ecstasy. Ordinary people cannot immediately understand the importance and necessity of such renunciation for spiritual progress. The living entity's eternal constitutional duty is cultivation of Krishna consciousness, which is the ultimate goal of spiritual life. In comparison to this, severe renunciation cannot be given much importance. Only those who are advanced in spiritual life can understand that Nityananda Prabhu's leaving behind such an affectionate father and mother for another purpose was most reasonable and necessary. Dasharath's lamentation due to separation from his son Ramachandra overwhelms even the hearts of Yavanas. Even the hardest hearts of intoxicated materialists are softened with transcendental mellows while hearing these topics. The word nirbhare means completely or excessively. The second line of verse 106 indicates that even Yavanas cry profusely when they hear such topics. The word svanubhavanande means in his own spiritual bliss. Gaya Kashi Prayaga Mathura Dvaravati Nara Narayana Shrama Gela Mahamati Bodalai Giya Gela Vyaser Alai Ranganatha Setu Bandha Gelen Malai Tabe Ananter Pur Gela Mahashai Brahmen Nirjana Bane Parama Nirbhoy Komati Gandaki Gela Sarayu Kaveri Ayodhya Dandakaranye Bulen Bihari. Oops. Trimala Vyankatanath Shapta Godavari Maheshera Sthana Gelo Kanyaka Nagari Reva Mahishmati Malla Tirtha Haridwar Jahi Purve Avatar Hoilo Gangar E Mata Jata Tirtha Nityananda Rai Shakal Dekhiya Puna Aila Maturai. The most magnanimous Nityananda visited Gaya, Kashi, Prayag, Mathura, Dwarka, and the ashram of Naranarayan. He went to the place of Buddhists and the residence of Vyas. He visited Ranganath, Setubandha, and the Malaya hills. He then went to Anantapur and fearlessly traveled through the uninhabited forests. He visited the Gomati, Gandaki, Sarayu, and Kaveri rivers. He also went to Ayodhya and then wandered throughout the forest of Dandakaranya. He went to Trimala and Venkatanath and Sapta Godavari, the abode of Lord Shiva, and Kanyakumari. Lord Nityananda visited the Reva River, Mahishmati, Mallatirtha, and Haridwar, where the Ganga descended in ancient times. In this way, after traveling to all the holy places, Lord Nityananda returned to Mathura. This is all by foot also, isn't it? Gaudiya Bhashya. See the description of Lord Nityananda's pilgrimage in the Adi-khanda, chapter 9. The word Bodalai refers to Kapila Vastu, Buddha Gaya, Saranath, and Kashi. Jinite na pare ke ho ananter dham, hunkara koroe dekhi purva janmasthan. No one could recognize Nityananda, the origin of Ananta, as he roared loudly on seeing his previous birthplace in Mathura. Niravadi balya bhav ano nahi spure, dhula khela khele vrindavanir bhitare. He remained always in the mood of a child, without displaying any other mood, as he sported in the dust of Vrindavan. I wonder how old Nityananda Prabhu was at this time. Was he like in his early 20s? And Haribol Krishna Mai Didi. I'm not sure if I saw you before. Yeah. Okay. Aharer cheshta nahi. Or was he younger? Maybe he was a teenager then at this time? Yeah. I wonder how long how long did he go on this pilgrimage for to all these places by foot? Was it like many years, or if anybody knows anything about the timeline, I'd be interested to know.
I read
Oh,
this,
sorry,
it
one
was
second.
about 10 years.
1 second, Nari Hari Prabhu. My volume is very low right now, and I have something playing in the background. 1 second, some white noise. Let me just.
Can you hear me?
1
Let me
second.
see, I had you on speaker. So kind of.
I lost it. 1 second.
Can you hear me at all?
Now I can.
Oh.
Yes. Sorry.
Better, 90%. Harry takes his phone and iPhone 145.
Haribo? Nari Hari Prabhu? I can hear you now.
Let me see. See, I had you on the speaker, and for some reason, I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you fine. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. As far as I remember reading, I'm trying to remember where, but I think it was about 10 years. And
Okay, around 10
sometime,
years.
yeah. So he was young. He was pretty young when he left.
Okay. Yeah, and Rukmini Didi says that he started out at age 12 and he wandered for nearly 2 decades. Wow. She said
Okay,
that
so I thought it was.
yeah, she said that she had researched this all for a class that she gave once, but now she doesn't remember the exact dates. She said, I could be wrong, but my memory is that he left home at age 12. Okay.
Yeah, so my apologies, because I read this recently, and my memory. But yeah, that's true. Now I remember. It was more than 10 years. It was like 20. And he was 12 or 10, 12 years old.
Okay.
He spent some time in Vrindavan too, just wandering forest to forest, just like a cowboy.
Yeah, I think that's the verse that we're right now on, right? Niravadi balya bhav ano nahi spure dhula kela khele vrindavanir bhitore. Wait. Oh, oops, I skipped some verses by accident, I think. No, I think that's where we are. So no one could recognize Nityananda, the origin of Ananta, as he roared loudly on seeing his previous birthplace. He remained always in the mood of a child without displaying any other mood as he sported in the dust of Vrindavan. Okay. Aharer chishta nahi koren kathai balya bhave vrindavane gada gadi jai. Oh wait, and there's more comments now from Rup Manjari and Rukmini Didi. Let me just put them up here on the screen so you can see. Oh, oops. Oops, I didn't Control C it. 1 second, so you can all see it. Okay, so Rukmini Didi says he's 12 years older. Okay, so he left home at the age of 12, and he is 12 years older than Mahaprabhu. And he left home when Nimai was born. Okay, very interesting. See, I didn't know these very important facts, so thank you so much. I'm really happy to have the Rukmini and Rup Manjari, the Nityananda experts. Okay. Aharer cheshta nahi koren kothai balya bhabe vrindavane gada gari jai keho nahi bujhe tan charitra udar Krishna rasa bine ar na kore ahar kadachit kon din kore dugdapan sheho jadi ajachita keho kore dan. Okay. He never endeavored for his meals and repeatedly rolled in the dust of Vrindavan in the mood of a child. No one could understand his magnanimous characteristics. He did not consume anything other than the mellows of Krishna consciousness. On some days he drank some milk. And some days he drank some milk if someone offered him without asking. Ajachitta. Gaudiya Bhashya. No one could understand Śrī Nityānanda Prabhu's pastimes of rolling in the dust of Vrindavan. All living entities require to collect eatables to maintain their bodies. But when one's constitutional propensities are awakened, he loses interest in accumulating anything other than the mellows of service to Vishnu and the Vaishnavas. Nityananda Prabhu maintains his body simply by occasionally drinking milk that he received without asking. Okay, Rukmini Didi saying, not Nityananda expert, Nityananda fans. Yes. Rup Manjari Didi has the on Facebook and WhatsApp the Dauji fan club for Nityananda Baladev. Yes. E mate vrindavane vaise Nityananda Navadvīpe prakasha hoila gora chandra. In this way, Nityananda Prabhu resided in Vrindavan, while in Navadvīp, Gaura Chandra revealed himself. Gaudiya Bhashya. While Lord Nityananda was wandering in Vrindavan, Gaura Sundar Mahaprabhu manifested his identity in Navadvīp. Nirantar Sankirtan Parama Ananda Dukha Pai Prabhu na Dekhiya Nityananda. The Lord constantly engaged in Sankirtan in great happiness, yet he became unhappy on not seeing Nityananda. Gaudiya Bhashya. While Mahaprabhu was constantly and happily engaged in propagating Sankirtan at Navadvīp, he felt distress because of Nityananda Prabhu's absence. Nityananda jani len Prabhur prakash, je avadhi lage kore vrindavane vas. Nityananda understood that the Lord had manifested himself. He had waited in Vrindavan for this moment. So he spent a good amount of time in Vrindavan then, huh? Seems like. Gaudiya Bhashya. Lord Nityananda lived in Vrindavan while waiting for Mahaprabhu to reveal himself. The phrase Jai Avadi Lagi means waiting for that auspicious moment. Janiya Aila Jhata Navadvīpa Pure Asiya Rohila Nandana Ācārya Ghare. Asiya Rohila Nanda Ācārya Ghare. Sorry guys. On realizing this, he immediately went to Navadvīp, where he stayed at the house of Nandana Ācārya. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word jhat means quickly. For a description of Nandana Ācārya, one may see Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Adi 1039 or Caitanya-bhāgavata Madhya-khaṇḍa chapter 17. Janaran says, Dauji ki jai. Nandana Ācārya Maha Bhagavatottama Deki Maha Tejo Rashi Jeno Surja Sama. Nandana Ācārya was a Maha Bhagavat. He saw that the bodily effulgence of Nityananda was equal to the sun. Gaudiya Bhashya. The topmost Uttam Adhikaris are pure devotees of the Lord. This is confirmed in the Śrīmad Bhagavatam 11:2-45 as follows. Sarva bhuteshu ya pashyed bhagavad bhavamatmana bhutani bhagavatyatman yesha bhagavatottama. The most advanced devotee sees within everything. He sees within everything the soul of all souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Consequently, he sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, and he understands that everything that exists is eternally situated within the Lord. And I've also heard this verse explains that he sees Bhagavad Bhavam Atmana within all souls. Within all living entities, he sees the same Bhagavad Bhav, like the same feelings towards Bhagavan that he has. He sees that in everybody else. So he thinks everybody is of that level, like, pure devotees like himself. He doesn't, yeah. He sees his own mood inside everybody else. Being the foremost of such liberated souls, the Mahabhagavat Śrī Nityānanda Prabhu is the origin of all pure devotees of the Lord. He is the most effulgent, and he is the basis of spiritual illumination. The reflection of his bodily effulgence revives the constitutional position of the living entities. Those who are under his shelter can also have similar effulgence. In the material conception of life, there is an absence of spiritual effulgence. Until one achieves spiritual realization, he cannot be freed from the contamination of forgetting his real identity. When the spiritual effulgence that emanates from Nityānanda and destroys the darkness of ignorance enters the heart of a person, it vanquishes the darkness of ignorance. Jai. That's beautiful. When the spiritual effulgence that emanates from Nityānanda, and which destroys the darkness of ignorance, enters the heart of a person, it will vanquish all the darkness of ignorance. Maha avadhuta vesh prakanda sharir niravadi gabhirata deki mahadhir. Nityananda appeared as a great avadhut with a large body, prakanda sharir. He was always grave and most sober. Gaudiya Bhashya. Only those who have attained perfection in the sannyas order of life and have naturally become indifferent to external renunciation are known as avadhuts. Many people are bewildered on seeing the avadhut's disdain for external signs. When a strict sannyasi attains perfection in the sannyas order, he becomes renowned as a learned sannyasi or avadhut. Śrī Nityānanda Prabhu is the topmost of such avadhuts. His gravity and extreme patience were observed by Nandana Ācārya. Aharnisha vadane boloye Krishna nam tribhuvane advitiya chaitanyar dham. He chanted the names of Krishna day and night. He was the abode of Lord Chaitanya, incomparable within the three worlds. I mean, literally, Nityananda is the abode of Nityananda Baladev is the Sandhini Shakti, the, Adhar Shakti is like the foundation. He manifests as the Dham. Everything, yeah. Gaudiya Bhashya. That Nityananda was always engaged in chanting the names of Krishna. Śrī Caitanya-dev had pervaded the three worlds on the support of Nityananda. Śrī Nityānanda alone is the unparalleled effulgence of Śrī Caitanya-dev. He is like the blazing sun in dissipating the darkness of the conditioned soul's ignorance of identifying themselves as enjoyers. How does that go? In Nityananda Ashtakam. God. Balat Sangsaram Bho Nidhi Harana Kun Bod Babam Aho Satam Shreya Sindhu Nati Kamuda Sandum. Anyways. Kala Sheni Spur, that's what it is. Kala Sheni Spurjat Timira Hara Surya Prabham Aham. Bhaja Nityananda. Kala Sheni Spurjat Timira Hara Surya Prabham Aham. He is like the blazing sun in dissipating the darkness of the conditioned soul's ignorance of identifying themselves as enjoyers. Śrī Nityānanda alone is most expert in enacting the pastimes of rendering 10 forms of service to Śrī Caitanya-dev. No other subjects may be compared with him. Śrī Nityānanda is the backbone in manifesting the Supreme Lord among the living entities. What were those 10 ways of serving? It was in the form of his, what was it? I just want to see it really quick. Am I diverging too much? Whenever I see things like this, I like to get it exactly right, be reminded of the details. Where is it? Chapter 1 with Gaudiya Bhashya. It's in here. Oops. Here we go. Let's see. 10, no, 10. Let's just type in 10. Okay. Okay, so Ananta Sankarshan or Ananta serves Śrī Krishna Chaitanya in 10 different forms, and as Shesh constantly glorifies the qualities of Chaitanya with his thousands of mouths as he holds the universes. Okay. Oops. Oops, wait, I need to put a space before. Okay. Okay, so Lord Balaram, here's the verse. Lord Balaram serves Krishna in 10 different ways. As his Sakha, as his friend, as his Bhai, as his brother, as his Vyajan, his fan, Shayan, his bed, Avahan, his carrier, and we read that that's referring to Garuda. He actually serves as Garuda. As his Griha, as his residence, as his Chhatra, as umbrella, also as Ananta Shesh, right? He covers the Lord as an umbrella. Vastra, as his ornaments, his clothes and ornaments. And, his garments. Vastra is his garments, and Bhushan, his ornaments. And also his asan, he's his sitting place. In these 10 different ways, Balaram serves Krishna. Okay, so no other objects may be compared with Nityananda. Śrī Nityānanda is the backbone in manifesting the Supreme Lord among the living entities. Among all the living entities, he's the backbone in manifesting the Supreme Lord among the living entities. Sorry. I read that wrong. Yeah. He is the backbone in manifesting the Supreme Lord among the living entities. Yes, we have no chance without Sri Guru. Oh, I've been missing Kishore's comments. Sorry about that. Nityananda was at Vangshivat when he was ordered to go to Navadvīp. Jaiho. Cool. Oops, and I'm just seeing now Janardan's comments. Jaya Khanda Guru Tattva. Oops. Oh, he gave me a shortcut. Thanks. I didn't look at your comment though. Okay. Nityānanda kone kone koro ye hunkar mahamatta jena balarama avatar. Sometimes Nityananda roared loudly in his own ecstasy. He appeared greatly intoxicated, just like the incarnation of Balaram. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śrī Nityānanda Prabhu sometimes roared loudly out of ecstasy in order to manifest his pastimes and identity in this world. He was fully intoxicated to constantly assist Śrī Chaitanya Dev's pastimes of distributing love of God. Just as Śrī Baladev Prabhu fully engaged in the service of Śrī Krishna in Vraj, in Gaudadesh also, where Chaitanya enjoyed his pastimes, the intoxicated mood and emotional ecstasy of Nityananda captured people's hearts through the help of their ears to vanquish the contamination of their hearts. No one should misunderstand the meaning of the word Nityānanda by thinking that Śrī Nityānanda is an insignificant conditioned soul like us. The word Nija here indicates realization of the Supreme Lord. According to material consideration, the Ananda of conditioned souls is always obstructed, and there is a gulf of difference between real Ananda and their Ananda. Since Nityananda Prabhu is himself the origin of the Vishnu Tattvas, if one attributes on him the material consideration of differentiation between the body and the self, then one will certainly be baffled in his attempts to realize the true meaning of the word Nityānanda. Koti Chandra Jiniya Vadana Manohar Jagata Jivana Hasya Sundar Adhar. His attractive face defeated the beauty of millions of moons, and his enchanting smile was the life and soul of the universe. Wow. Jagat Jivan Hasya Sundar Adhar. His beautiful lip. Adhar is lips, isn't it? and Hasya's smile. Okay, it's the Jagat is the life and soul of the universe, the Jagat Jivan. Gaudiya Bhashya. The second line of this verse indicates that his beautiful smile gave life to all living entities and the entire universe. Mukuta jiniya Śrī Darshaner Jyoti. Jyoti, sorry. And Ajata Aruna Dui Lochana Subhati. The effulgence of his teeth defeated that of pearls, and his two broad reddish eyes increased the beauty of his face. Gaudiya Bhashya. This verse indicates that the radiance of his teeth defeated even the luster of pearls. His two broad reddish eyes expanded the beauty of his face. Ajanu lambita bhuja supivara bakha chalite komala bodo padajuga dakha. His hands stretched down to his knees, and his chest was broad. Supivar, I don't know what that is. His two soft lotus feet were expert in movement. Gaudiya Bhashya. His two hands extended down to his knees, and his chest was raised. Although his lotus feet were extremely soft, they were very expert in the act of walking. Parama kripai kore sabare sambhasha shunile shri mukha vakya karma bandha nasha. He spoke to everyone with great compassion. On hearing the words from his lotus mouth, one's bondage to fruitive activities was destroyed. Gaudiya Bhashya. The words emanating from the lotus mouth of Nityananda Prabhu has no possibility of maintaining material conceptions. The conditioned souls proudly identify themselves as the doers and engage in material activities while considering themselves products of matter. If the living entities hear the words of Śrī Nityānanda Prabhu, then their thirst for material enjoyment will be vanquished, and their constitutional propensities will awaken. He pleases everyone with his most compassionate words. Aila Nadia Pure Nityananda Rai Shakala Bhuvane Jai Jai Dhwani Gai. When Lord Nityananda arrived in Nadia, there were shouts of joy all over the world. She Mahima Bole Heno Ke Ache Prachanda Je Prabhu Bangila Gora Sundarer Danda. Who can describe the glories of that Lord who broke the sannyas danda of Gaurasundar? Gaudiya Bhashya. He is directly Lord Baladev. Therefore, the power of his glories cannot be compared with any other object. How can anyone's power be compared with the power of he who transgressed his exhibition of subordination to Gaurasundar by breaking his sannyas danda that Gaurasundar accepted out of formality? Everyone is forced to follow the rules and regulations enjoined by Gaurasundar. When the Lord of the 14 worlds was personally following the rules and regulations to set the example for people in general, Nityananda Prabhu, being intolerant, altered the Lord's exemplary pastimes of following the rules and regulations. See Madhya-khaṇḍa chapter 2. Vanik adhama murka je korila par, Brahmanda pavitra hoy nama loile jar. The entire universe is purified by chanting the names of He who delivered the fallen, the foolish, and the merchants. We're going to finish in 4 minutes, just letting you know. Gaudiya Bhashya. When the eternal servants of Krishna situate themselves within the Varna principles of this world, they engage in trade as members of the third Varna. Such communities are called Vaishyas, or Vaniks. In order to direct their propensities, they spend their time protecting cows, cultivating land, trading, and loaning money on interest. When one forgets Krishna, he develops a taste for the propensities of a merchant, and as a result of such desires, he he takes birth in the house of a merchant. Being dependent on such merchants, other communities award them titles such as Shreshti, aristocratic, Adya, rich, and Mahajan, wholesale merchant. As a result of being respected in this way, such merchants become proud. The superiority and inferiority of a merchant is determined by the items in which he trades. Those whose business is to sell intoxicants are also merchants, but they are comparatively inferior to the other merchants. Nevertheless, they are also considered Vaishyas. Since a living entity's propensity for serving Hari is greatly disturbed by becoming absorbed in exchanging gold, the gold merchants are condemned and they are also considered inferior Vaishyas. Persons who appeared in such families, as well as those who had similar propensities as a result of impressions from previous lives, were delivered by Nityananda Prabhu from their absorption in matter and awarded the title of Ācārya. External identifications are temporary. When all such identifications are removed, the living entity awakens to his constitutional position. He is then liberated and engages in the service of Hari. According to material consideration, people are of higher, middle, or lower classes. According to the consideration of intelligent persons, people are either learned, uneducated, or foolish. These external identifications are temporarily cover the intelligence of Krishna's eternal servants and cause them to become absorbed in matter. Due to forgetfulness of one's spiritual consciousness, a dormant spirit soul is bereft of the Lord's service and forgets his eternal identification. Ooh, I'm going to send this to Sundar Gopal. I'm not sure if this would be at all. Anyways, by his instructions, Śrī Nityānanda Prabhu removes the living entity's absorption in matter and bestows eternal benefit on them. The living entities are then freed from material conceptions and travel to the spiritual kingdom. The external identification of liberated souls bewilders those who are engaged in identifying themselves with matter and entangles them in the laws of karma. In order to benefit persons who have mercantile propensities and those born in merchant families, as well as fools who are condemned by people in general, Nityananda Prabhu, who is unlimitedly merciful, relieves them from their material conceptions. Just by hearing the name of Nityananda Prabhu, the people of the entire world are purified from the propensity for committing sin. Even the merchants, the fallen, and the foolish are purified and become knowers of the absolute truth and devotees of the Supreme Lord. Then no one can doubt their purity. See Madhya-khaṇḍa chapter 5. Paya Nandana Ācārya harashita hoya rakhilen nija grihe bhikha koraiya. Nandana Ācārya welcomed Nityananda Prabhu, fed him, and kept him in his house. Navadvīpe Nityānanda Chandra Agaman Iha Jai Shune Tare Mile Premadhan. Anyone who hears about the arrival of Nityananda in Navadvīp will certainly receive the wealth of love. Gaudiya Bhashya. Those who hear the topics of Lord Nityananda's auspicious arrival in Navadvīp become conversant with his distribution of love of Godhead, or Krishna Prem, and achieve love for Krishna. Nityananda Agamana Jani Vishwambar Ananta Harisha Prabhu Hoila Antar. When Vishwambar understood that Nityananda had arrived, he became unlimitedly joyful at heart. Purva Vyapadeshe Sarva Vaishnaver Sthane Vyanjiya Achen Keho Marma Nahi Jane. On some pretext, the Lord had previously given the Vaishnavas some hint about Nityananda's arrival, yet none of them had understood. Gaudiya Bhashya. Before the arrival of Nityananda, Gaurasundar had hinted to the Vaishnavas that some great personality would come, but the Vaishnavas could not grasp the meaning of Gaurasundar's statement. We're at the last verse. Ore bhai dina duiti ner bhitore kono mahapurusha eka asibe ethare. O brothers, within 2 or 3 days, some great personality will come here. Daiveshe dina Vishnu puji Gora Chandra satvare milila jatha Vaishnaver brinda. By providence, after worshipping Vishnu that same day, Gaurachandra soon met with all the Vaishnavas. And then the Lord told everyone, "Today I have seen something wonderful in a dream. A chariot adorned by a flag and marks with a palm tree." Anyways, we're going to read this all. This is a good cliffhanger. So we're going to end here, and we're going to see what happens tomorrow. All right. Jai Ho. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Jai Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Nityananda Ram, Jai Nityananda Ram, Jai Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jai Gaura Nitai, Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. And tomorrow we Kishore has that's beautiful picture. Let's see that. Jai Nityananda Ram ki jai. So in tomorrow we only have like 2,000 some. Today we read 5,000 words. Tomorrow we have less than 3,000 words. So we'll have some time to, maybe we can sing some Nityananda kirtans, and if anybody has anything to share about Nityananda Prabhu that they'd like, we'll have extra time tomorrow. So, Jai Nityananda Ram ki jai. All right, Kishore Prabhu, take it away.
Jai Nitai.
Jai Nitai.
Jai Sabarkar Shishi Gurgauranga Ganharga Giridhari Rad Vinar Viri Radnainath Radraman Viri Radmar Shishi Radha Bankim Rai ki jai. Sare Govinda Gopinath Madan Mahanjiv ki jai. Jai Nityālela Pravishtam Vishnupar Paramaham Sabri Prakacharya Varya Nityananda Mahaprakash Gauranga Antaranga Stotrashta Shishaman Bhaktivyan Bharati Goswami Guru Maharaj ki jai. जय नित्यालेल प्रविष्टों विष्णुपार परमहंस ब्रजक्षारि वर्य नित्यानंद महाप्रकाश गौरंग अंतरंग अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवरान नारायण गोस्वामी महाराज पति पावन श्री गुरुदेव की जय। जय नित्यालेल प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमान भक्ति बल तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्यालेल प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवरान वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रश्त शिष्यमाद भक्तिवेदांत विक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रश्त शिष्यमान भक्ति जीवन जनार्दन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रश्त शिष्यमान भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी गोस्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रश्त शिष्यमान भक्ति दयितमान गोस्वामी परम गुरु महाराज की जय। नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रश्त शिष्यमान भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोस्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद स्तोत्रश्त शिष्यमान जगद्गुरु शिव ऋषभाना विदयितराज शिर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। स्वाप्रकाशिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर महाशय की जय। नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद महापरम भगवत परवार परमहंस अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमान गौर किशोर दास भवशी महाराज की जय। नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद सप्तम गोस्वामी अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमान सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाशय की जय। नित्यालेल प्रविष्टं विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वभौम अष्टोत्तरश्त शिष्यमान जगन्नाथ बाबूजी महाराज की जय। सूर्य कुंडवासी सिद्ध श्रीमद सुंदास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री उर्वदास उदयनाथ दास की जय। गुरुविराट आचार्य शिल बलिदेव विभूषण प्रभु की जय। महामहोपतरियाय शिरोमणि शिल विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पाद की जय। शिल राधरमन चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। शिल कृष्ण चरण चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। शिल गंगा नारायण चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर की जय। जय शिल रसिकानंद मुरारी प्रभु की जय। जय शिल रामचंद्र कविराज की जय। जय श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय। जय शिल नरहरेश्वर ठाकुर की जय। जय शिल नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभुत्राय की जय। जय शिल कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। जय नित्यानंद प्रिय शिष्य शिल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर महाशय की जय। जय श्री अष्टकविराज वसुर जानव नित्यानंद दुष्कपाल नित्यानंद शक्ति वसुर जानव की जय। श्री चौषति महंत की जय। जय श्री रूप श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट रास रघुनाथ सर गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर रॉय रमानंद लोकनाथ पुगर्भ आदि गौर परिषार वृंद की जय। नमाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। शिल ईश्वर परिपार की जय। शिल माधवेंद्र परिपार की जय। शिल लक्ष्मीपति तीर्थ पाद की जय। श्री अंतरद्वीप मायापुर सिमंद्वीप गौतमद्वीप मध्यद्वीप कौलद्वीप ऋतुद्वीप जानुद्वीप मातृ द्रुमाद्वीप रुद्रदीप मात्मका श्री नावदीप धाम की जय। श्री एक चक्र धाम की जय। शिव मरेश्वर शिव महाराज की जय। श्री हटाई पंडित की जय। श्री पद्मावती की जय। श्री बंकिम राय की जय। श्री निताय कुंड की जय। श्री श्री शांतिपुर धाम की जय। श्री गौर नित्यानंद राम की जय। श्री श्री गौर गदाधर की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ गोपी गोपा गो गिरिगोविदान वर्षावन श्री ब्रजमंडल धाम की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंगा सखी आमन सखी तुलसी भक्ति देव की जय। जय श्री ब्रजेश्वरी वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय। श्री ललिता विशाखा चित्र चंपकलत तुंग विद्या इंदुलेख रंग देवी सुदेवी अरिसखी वृंद की जय। श्री आनंग प्रेम मंजलाली शिरूपलमंगाराग विलस गुणरति कस्तूरी कमल नयन मणि हरिमंजारी वृंद की जय। श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भगवती पूर्णमासी कुमारी देवी की जय। श्री गुबीश्वर सरशिव महादेव की जय। श्री सुपाल मधुमंगल अरिसक वृंद की जय। श्री दाऊजी महाराज की जय। श्री धाऊ भैया की जय। जय राधा परंजित राम श्री वृंदावन की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र नीलमार्ग जू की जय। श्री चक्र पर्वत की जय। श्री तत्व गोपीनाथ की जय। श्री श्री वरुणी रेवती बलराम की जय। जय श्री दंडभंगा लीलास्थली की जय। जय शिल प्रभुपाद जन्मस्थान की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय। जय सर्व विघ्न विनाशन करे भक्त विघ्न विनाश श्री नरसिंह देव की जय। भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्री प्रहलाद लक्ष्मी नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री चरिधाम चरि संप्रदाय चरि आचार्य की जय। श्री मध्वार मनोज विष्णु स्वामी नंबदित्य चरि आचार्य की जय। आक्रमत राशि चैतन्य मार की जय। श्री गौरीमार वृंद की जय। करंतरा श्रीमाद भगवताम भगवद गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भगवत नित्यानंद चरितामृत हरि सर्व गौरी वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम प्रभु की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन युग धर्म की जय। त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलयुग तरक ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे महामंत्र की जय। श्री आनंदपुरी वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री समगत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। परम ब्रह्मन परम सत्यम परमेश्वर पति पावन प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम स्वयं भगवान जगन्नाथ मिश्र नंदन गौर सुंदर गराधर प्राणनाथ श्री विशंबर मिश्र निमाय पंडित श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चंद्र महाप्रभु की जय। अखंड गुरु अदि गुरु प्रभु श्री नित्यानंद राम महाजान की जय। श्री नित्यानंद लक्ष्मण हलदार बलदेव प्रभु की जय। प्रेम दत्त निताय की जय। श्री अक्रोध परमानंद नित्यानंद राय की जय। पद्मावती सुत निताय की जय। जय श्री वसुर प्रणवल्लभ निताय की जय। श्री जनव जीवन निताय की जय। श्री सचिनंदन प्राण श्री नित्यानंद राम की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य भगवान की जय। श्री नित्यानंद चरितामृत की जय। शिल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर महाशय की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति सरान सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर महाशय की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद गौर वश्य की जय। श्री आनंद गिरि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री समग्र गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय सेवक वृंद की जय। श्री गौर सेवक वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरे हरि बोल। ओम वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। पंचाकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुवेव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय निताय गौर हरि बोल।
Jai Nitai. All right, Dandavat Pranams, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Dandavat Pranams, Nari Hari Prabhu and Bhavatarani Mataji, Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Champak Mataji, Krishna Mai Didi, and let's see on YouTube and Facebook, many devotees today. Janardhan Prabhu, Manjari Didi, Nitai, and Ganga Mataji, Raseshwari Mataji, Rukmini Didi, and Sudevi Didi, Vidya Lalasa Didi, and who else? I think there's a few other devotees. Oh, Janardhan Prabhu, I already mentioned Janardhan Prabhu. Yeah. Dandavat Pranams, everybody. I see there's a bunch of other people there, but I don't, if you write a comment, I don't, if you don't write a comment, I don't see your name. But pranams to everybody. And before we end today, does anybody have anything they want to say before I end this stream?
I do.
Yes, okay.
I just wanted to apologize, actually. Just speaking, I was so certain, but I forgot. And I had read this a long time ago, so pretty embarrassing. But I could say that my other statements,
that wasn't anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially, there's such illustrious community of devotees and Vaishnavis that are so well versed in Nityananda Prabhu's biography. I just don't know. I was so certain. But yeah, I have read this a long time ago, so it's always been kind of a little cloudy thing too. That who really was the sannyas? Sunset, yeah. And then how long he was there. But what I remember clearly is that he spent a long time in Vrindavan. And recently, here in Caitanya-bhāgavata, that he knew when Lord Chaitanya manifested. He was waiting for that. He's godly. Yeah. So yeah, again,
I didn't know anything about any of this. So like Lord Nityananda's pastimes are very mysterious, aren't they? There isn't many parts are not very clear. Like still, even Mahabhagavats, like all of pure devotees, they're still not full. Nobody's fully certain whether that sannyasi, the mendicant. I guess yes, he was sannyasi. Whether he was. Yeah, sannyasi. Whether he was Lakshmi Pati Tirtha or
right. I heard that one.
Right,
Lakshmi
isn't there
Pati
this?
Tirtha, Shankaranya Puri, and Madhavendra Puri are the ones that are argued with her.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's lots of mystery behind Nityananda's pastimes.
And the dates are not clear. The dates how long he traveled and everything. Some have different opinions when. So it's not clear.
Yeah, and Rukmini Didi says, thank you so much for sharing Nri Hari Prabhu. But yeah, There's
Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, it's wonderful. As we read on, we'll see that even though Chaitanya says you don't know that actually Nityananda Prabhu is higher than me. So it's like it's so esoteric, and it's like a gift Nityananda Prabhu gives us Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but without the mercy of Mahaprabhu, we cannot understand who Nityananda is, and they're one and the same and different.
Can't separate them from each other. Interdependent.
Right.
Nitai.
Nitai.
I love when you speak Narihari, bro. I love it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sorry. That time you said that Srinath Maharaj did say that, and as a I remember then Bhattacharya corroborated, and then I remembered that there were some other devotees there, like Manjari Ehrlichman, because we were there, and this was before, but then towards the end of his Leela, when we were in Delhi, we were chanting that for Gurudev. Anyhow, thank you, Kishori, and again, my apologies for.
Don't apologize. No, there's nothing to apologize for. Nothing to apologize for. Rukmini Di is saying that as far as she says, as far as I recall, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur took a clear stance somewhere in the Gaudiya Bhashya as to who was the sannyasi. So we'll have to find that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'll be interesting. Because Gurudev says in his Navadvīp Parikram book that some say it was Lakshmipati Tirtha, some say it was a Shankaranya Puri, and then Gurudev says like these opinions do not make any sense now. Because Gurudev said that if it was Lakshmipati Tirtha, then why hasn't it been written in what's that book called from Narahari Chakravarti Thakur?
Bhakti Ratnakar.
Yeah, Bhakti Ratnakar. Gurudev said then it would be recorded in Bhakti Ratnakar, but it's not recorded there. It's recorded that Nityānanda Prabhu took Diksha from Lakshmipati Tirtha later in Bhakti Ratnakar. And even if that is disputed, whether Nityānanda Prabhu took from Lakshmipati Tirtha or from Madhavendra Puri, it's not clear.
Yeah.
And then Gurudev said also Gurudev gave a reason why it couldn't have been Shankaranya Puri. Gurudev said that he wasn't there at the time. And some say Madhavendra Puri. Some acharyas say Madhavendra Puri, but personally that doesn't make sense to me since Nityananda Prabhu met Madhavendra Puri during his travels. We read that in Caitanya-bhāgavata.
At Remuna, right?
Oh, that's right. Yes, they met.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, he didn't meet in Ramuna, but that's when he was telling about the pastime. Sorry.
Yeah. But Nityananda Prabhu he personally met at Madhavendra Puri on his travels. But everything is possible. Perhaps it was Madhavendra Puri.
Yes. And always whenever there's like confusion with Leelas, everything always happens at some yuga or another. So nothing's ever like totally discounted. But what happened this time or what happened on another planet, that's all. That can be, a little bit more fuzzy.
And then there's the sannyasa of Nityananda Prabhu.
Oh yeah, we read all about that, didn't we? I think that was that in the first chapter?
Did we? I don't remember.
I remember reading about it at some point. Maybe it was Bhakti Rakshak Shira Goswami Maharaj. I think it was Srila Shira Goswami Maharaj.
Bhakti Rakshak Shira Maharaj. She's talked about it.
Yeah, I think that was in Golden Volcano of Divine Love. Yeah, that's what
yeah. Bhakti Rakshak Shira Maharaj is of the opinion that he did not take sannyas.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because in the challenge that Srila Jiv Janardhan and Goswami Maharaj we were reading yesterday, remember he challenges all the Babajis, and he mentions the sannyas.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying that it's not clear whether Nitai took sannyas or not.
It's not clear.
And I always think when it comes to things with Leela and also things to do with Ras, there's a lot of room for different, because every devotee experiences things in a different way, right? Like like everything's very personal with Krishna. And the experience that each devotee has is between the Lord, and the Lord will have manifest different things to various devotees. And so when it comes to Leela and also things about the like, these different Rasik topics, there's a room for lots of differences.
It's all
And
revelation.
it doesn't actually like, no, it only had to happen this way and all the other ways are no, because the leelas are unlimited and completely, it's not just like so black and white and simple like things that happen in this world. But when it comes to tattva, then that's like, everything's exact and there's but
Measurable.
leela, there's yeah.
Some Prakrit Sahajiyas, they say that Nityananda Prabhu is Radharani.
I know. That's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why that's why the chant Nitai Gaur Radhe Shyam Hare Krishna
Nityānanda
Hare.
His,
That's why that is
yeah.
so offensive,
Well,
because they actually think that Radha Krishna is Gaur Nitai, and you see that
yeah,
actually all over Bengal. You see that setup. They'll have Radha Krishna, and then underneath Radha they'll have Nitai and Mahaprabhu. It's like a very common thing you see. That's a very common setup you'll see all over Bengal. So yeah, it's
yeah,
actually like a really prevalent big deal. Like yeah, it's a big issue.
yeah.
Hmm.
Prabhupada, our Prabhupada, that's why we start chanting Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya instead of Bhaja Sri Krishna, because that sect took that, and so Prabhupada wanted to distinguish ourselves from them, or
Oh,
separate
interesting.
ourselves from them. Yeah, and one time, maybe a few years back, I was in Parikrama, the short Vrindavan Parikrama. It was a Kailashi, and from behind us, this huge group. I mean, this group was like they were that group, and they were about, and this sannyasi from Gaudiya said, "No, hurry up, let's go. These are them." Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's, you know.
Oh, I
But yeah,
remember. No, sorry.
oh no, that I feel that we try to measure everything. We're so linear in our thinking, and so we want to, like you said, wrap our heads around, and we can't do that around, like you were saying, Madhya-khaṇḍa is eternal lila. The Lord can do whatever He wants, and here in Bhagavad Caitanya-bhāgavata and Chaitanya, that these pastimes are revealed. They're not, oh yeah, I understood. Only because the grace of Lord Chaitanya, then we'll be able to understand them.
Even
Through super
within
mercy.
this, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. But even within the same lila that's going on in one place, and there are many different devotees there, all the different devotees' experience of that same pastime is completely different. And so it's like one thing going on in one place, but the devotees will perceive a completely different pastime at the same place at the same time in the same area, and so there's, yeah, it's very individual how Krishna manifests his lila. Every devotee sees Krishna in the same way. Every gopa sees Krishna in a different form, a different type of beauty, a different type of, Mother Yashoda always sees Krishna as a little baby boy, and while in the same context, like we hear, yeah, so Krishna's pastimes is different for each devotee, even though it's the same pastime. And
Right,
one
and
one
it's
point,
according to their
I'm sorry.
rasa and adhika. Because
Mm-hmm.
during Lord Chaitanya, all the rasas were there, weren't they? The devotees were different rasas. The
And
four principal rasas. So yeah,
even within that, like even people are very similar, like all the different sakis, all the different manjaris, they each have their very unique special ras that's different from everybody else, even different from, like every devotee has a completely unique ras and flavor. It isn't like, nothing's just like grouped together. Like, yeah, so, oh,
and
one
that
point.
was, yeah.
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No, just Rukmini Didi is saying that Nityananda was known as Sarup, which is a brahmachari name, not a sannyasi name. They were all referred to by their brahmachari names, right? Even Chaitanya is a brahmachari name, not a sannyasi name, isn't it?
Well,
Yeah.
that's right. But then again, they said yes, a certain order of sannyas. I think it's
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Guru Maharaj said, my Guru Maharaj said that amongst the Vaishnavas there are differences, but such differences should not be seen as differences. They are specialities.
Right.
And he goes on to say, right, that if you're taking prasad, you don't just want like I just want a big plate of ice cream or something like that. You need all the different varieties of tastes for everything to and everything, it makes everything else nicer. You need the bitter melon, you need the chutney, the sour part, the sweet part, you need all the different rasas, and they all complement each other, right? That's
Yeah.
what it is.
One sannyasi,
Oh,
he
right.
said,
Yeah.
one sannyasi said
Go ahead.
that this mood of my guru, like only my guru, it's like going to a Sunday feast and only having khichdi.
Yes.
What were you gonna say, bro?
Does Srila Prabhupada say variety is the spice of life? He said, but I like the transcendental variety.
Nice. Beautiful.
Like I was saying, ice cream, I'm an ice cream connoisseur. So people like chocolate, people like strawberry, others just vanilla. So it's all ice cream.
Yeah, I
What
mean,
is
if
that?
you were only allowed to eat one flavor of ice cream and not eat anything else also, you'd get sick of ice cream really quick. That's why Krishna, well, maybe that's not a perfect example, but yeah, Krishna likes to taste all different varieties. He doesn't just want one mellow, he wants all the different mellows.
Yeah. And so that's why I love that when you read Gurudev's booklet and how he clarifies Raganuga and Rupanuga and the difference. And I could hear background Guru saying, be single pointed, so that honing it down to where followers. So Rupa Goswami, both these as Goswami and as Rupa Manjari, especially Rupa Manjari, as one who becomes very advanced.
I was just wanted to mention one thing, but before that, to Rupa Manjari's point, on the Gurudev Shilanarayan Goswami Maharaj, sometimes he would say that Nityānanda is sannyasi, but at other times Gurudev said it's not confirmed whether Nityānanda took sannyas or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, regarding the Nitai Gaur Radhe Shyam mantra, I heard from your biological father, Rishabdev Prabhu, that the person who came up with this mantra was Radharaman Das Babaji, and that he started spreading it, and that he was spreading it. And this was during the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that he was chanting Nitai Gaur Radhe Shyam, and it was like to get rid of, I don't know, some plague that was there at the time. I don't know what. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was there and he asked, I want to meet Radharaman and Das Babaji. I want to meet the person who's introduced this mantra. And he came to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur severely chastised him for using such a mantra for material means and all these things. And at that time, Radharaman and Das Babaji actually surrendered to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he regretted that he composed this mantra.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't even remember where I heard this. It wasn't from my father, but I can't remember where. But I heard that there was like some kind of debate, and that he was defeated in the debate, like publicly, and like there's no denying it. He was totally defeated, and he went a little bit mad after that, or something like that. Like he went a little bit, but his disciple kept the line going, or whatever, like kept the teachings or whatever, but I'm not sure how authentic that is. I just remember hearing that from somebody sometime. And yeah. And then whenever what was it? Whenever like there'd be like a Nagar Kirtan going on, and there'd be people singing that. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada would have all the brahmacharis and sannyasis and everyone like bang the instruments really loud so that he didn't have to hear it. Did you ever hear that?
Jai Prabhupada. I've never heard that before. It's amazing.
No. So that makes sense that the sannyasi made me run with the cover your ears, like
Yes.
chant louder.
I
These
think
are there.
who was it? Was it Gorkishore Das Babshi Maharaj or Srila Jagannath Das Babshi Maharaj who would get a stick and try to beat them?
Mm.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe it was Vamshi Das Babji. One of them. They would get
Yeah.
a stick and start trying to beat people who are chanting imaginary things.
And
Yeah.
that kirtan is going on 24/7 at Siddhabukul, at Haridas Thakur Samadhi, and well, those places. There's 24/7 Nitai Gauradi, like that mantra. Yeah.
Oh no.
Vishmaga. In case anyone wants to know more about Radharaman Charan Das Babji, Wabil Kapoor came out with a biography about him, like, I don't know, a couple
Really?
decades ago. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. You can ask Padmanabh Maharaj. He knows all about it.
That's kind of fascinating. I think I'm gonna have to check that out because I've always been a little bit curious, actually. Okay, cool.
He
I'm not
has a Zoom
recommending
class.
it.
I know you're not recommending it, but
I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying that it's out there.
yeah, no, I'm always curious to know what I find the up. I mean, it's probably not good, but I do find the Upper Sampradaya is kind of fascinating. Yeah. All right. It is now past 9 o'clock, so I think this is a good time to end. Were you about to say something, Nirihari Prabhu?
Oh no, it was a question if Padmanabh Maharaj's class is every day and it's
No,
coming like 2 hours after yours.
Okay, so his class, if anybody wants to go for Padmanabh Maharaj's class online, it's streamed on Facebook on his personal Facebook page, and it is every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So, yeah,
Okay.
so every other day, beginning from Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. And then I think afterwards, his disciple Madhavi, she posts on a good quality. She streams it live, and then afterwards she records it on another camera, like a good quality recording, and then she posts that on his YouTube channel. And there is a WhatsApp group also, like that, where she announces when he's beginning. But yeah, so. And now the topic is going to be Srila Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Goswami Maharaj for a little while. He's reading this from this book, Rupanuga Bhajan, as I mentioned before. And then afterwards, he has all sorts of ideas of what direction to go, and he's trying to figure that out, which he was thinking of maybe starting from Bhagavad Gita, like reading Bhagavad Gita, but then he was thinking, I forgot, he listed a bunch of options, and we'll see what happens. Hi.
Prabhu, I have to run, sorry. I
Yes,
need
me
nature
also.
call.
Oh, okay.
Haribo.
Dandavat pranams,
Dandavat
everybody.
pranams.
Haribo. Jai Shri Radhe.
I see that. Nitaya.
Yes, and Rukmini Didi, yes. Srila Bhakti Jivan Janardhan Goswami Maharaj's disappearance day was yesterday, and his appearance day is in like 4 days from now, I think. I think there's like a 5-day gap between his appearance day and disappearance day. So in 5 days from now, I'm also planning on reading from that book, Rupanuga Bhajan, if I can find it. So. All right, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you, everybody, for sticking to the end.